Hi guys, welcome back to PHPdemy. Today's tutorial is on a CRUD system. What is a CRUD system? A CRUD system is a software designed to manipulate data in a database. CRUD simply means or stands for C for create, which creates or inserts data into the database. R stands for read, which retrieve or fetch data from the database. U stands for update, which modifies data in the database. And D stands for delete, which remove data from the database. So, also know that a CRUD system is essential to learn because many softwares and web services, also APIs, are built around a CRUD function. So now that we have understood what a CRUD system is, let's jump into the codes and build one for ourselves. We are now in our code editor and we are using our custom built PHP MVC framework. If you want to learn how to develop a personalized MVC framework, you can also check on my channel and you will see a tutorial on that. But every code and more from that tutorial is right here in this particular project. So this is the framework I'll be using for most of my projects, because I tend to run tutorials basically on MVC frameworks or applications that are built based on MVC architecture. So in our project folder we have our app folder and our public folder and our vendor, which houses our PHP mailer, even though we won't be using it because this is like a standard framework that I developed from scratch, so I will not be able to be deleting and updating folders and files. So all my projects are going to be based on this particular MVC framework. It is very easy to use and very direct, so I'll just run through it briefly and you'll see how it looks like. So here is our config file, which houses a lot of functions and arrays in an array, which is called by required files, specific files that require some of the credentials that are contained in that file. And then this is where the controllers are. This is a core and I call it the engine house of the whole project. So without the core, the project will not be powered. So it has a lot of other classes in it: the app class, which runs our project, the config file, the controller, which is the base controller, the cookie, the database, the email, the encryption file, or class, model, request, redirects, and a lot of that. So this is not a tutorial on how to build MVC. We just want to build a CRUD system with this. So if you want to learn more on that, please check on the video on MVC framework. The link will also be included in the description of this video. So now that we have gotten all that out of the way, so this CRUD system, I'm going to teach you two ways in which you can do it. One is going to be the CRUD modal, using Modal, and the other will be using links. So the modal, although we are not going to be using Ajax, so it's strictly PHP. I try not to make things a lot bulky than it already is. So let's go and check the view in our browser. So this is how our CRUD system looks. So when you click on CRUD modal, it will take you to CRUD Modal. When you click on CRUD links, it will take you to CRUD links. So let's head back to our code editor and start coding. So in our controller folder, we are going to add two files. So we add CRUD modal.php, and then we add the CRUD links.php. These two files are going to hold the class for CRUD links and then CRUD Modal respectively. So we're starting with the CRUD links. So we declare our PHP tag opened, and then we have our class CRUD link, and then we extend our base controller. Now we are going to declare some properties. So we have some public properties. The first is our request, next is our redirect, and let's also declare data for our model, since we'll be using a model. So each of these properties, we are going to instantiate the request class, which is representing an HTTP request, and then the redirect is also, we are going to instantiate the redirect class, possibly for use for redirecting users to different pages. Not possibly, we are definitely going to redirect back and forth. So, and also the model class, which is the CRUD model, we are also going to instantiate it, presumably to representing the model component of the CRUD system, right? Have our constructor. Now let's instantiate our request class. So we say this request. So we simply say if the request is not null, then simply instantiate it, and then we have this. We also instantiate the class, and then finally we have this. We have CRUD model. So we have we instantiated our CRUD class as well. So we just go ahead now and create our model. So we add just paste that .php, and we'll come back to it later. So let's head back to our controller, and let's create our first method. So we have public function index. So the index method is going to handle the addition of new products. It will check if the request method is a post. We're going to see all of that in a moment. It will also validate the CSRF token for security purpose. And what again? It's going to retrieve data from the request and validate the data, and if validation passes, then it's call on the method that will allow us insert data into the database from our model, which is a CRUD model, and then we will set a success message. So let's head back into our code and then see all of this, how it happens. So we first of all say data, let's declare, and then we come down here and add data. So we say if this request is post. This is a function that we already talked about in our mini PHP MVC framework. So Now we have given a condition that if the request is a post, then whatever is contained within that request should be processed. So let's also check our validity of our CFR token. So we say if, okay, let me add validate. So we say if this request data, and then we have CSRF underscore token is not equal to the one in our session, let this happen. So we say we'll display a error message. So we say session set. So we have for error we have danger. These are all pre-declared functions that are, or methods that we are using right here. So for better understanding of what we're doing, I would strongly recommend you go and watch the video on mini PHP MVC framework. It will really help a lot to understand what we're doing right here. So let's say something, and then we redirect. So we say this redirect. This is also another predefined class and method in a class called redirect. So we're going to redirect it back to CRUD links. If the session does not tally, it's not what is contained in our application, then this error is going to pop up. So we'll say die. We can leave it, we can put it, well, I'm just going to leave it there. So next we declaring our variables for our input fields. So before we do that, let's head on to our view and then create our forms. So I'm going to create that offline, since you're going to have the source code. I don't have to take you through the elementary part of this whole tutorials. So I have created the form. This is what it looks like, and we have our error and success messages displayed up here. So if the validation fails for our CSRF token, this danger here is going to display. If we have a success, if we have successfully inserted our item into the database, then the success is going to display. So to be able to view our form without any error, because I tried to view the form offline and I got an error, so I had to comment this line of code for now, since we have not created the class just yet. So in order to view our form in the browser, so this is what the form is going to look like. So we have product name, product price, and product description. So this is where our products are going to be displayed. So now that we have seen the structure of our form and the codes of our form, let's now go back to our controller, our CRUD link controller, and begin to validate these fields. So we have the first parameter as name. So we say this request data. So the next is the price. and then finally we have the parameter description, and then we say this request, sorry, that would have been a big blunder, data, then we have description. Now we can begin validating our form. So but before we go ahead to validate, I think it's high time we create our model. We've already created the file, so let's go create the class. So we are in our model class, the CRUD model. Let's declare our PHP tag, and maybe just say CRUD model class, just to let us know we are in our CRUD model class. Then we say class CRUD model extend model. Now the first method we are going to create is the get all product or get all post. So this is the method that we will use to call all of our items in the database under this table product. So we'll just head back to our view and then include this, so that immediately we start inserting our data, we can as well see them display right here. So now that we have created our get all products method in our model, we can call it in two ways. We can call it either in the view this way, or we can call it right here in the controller. So now let's go back and see our forms. Okay. Okay, I think I know where the problem is. Yes, we didn't uncomment this, so once we uncomment it and we refresh, that error goes away. So now let's go into form validation. So to begin form validation, let's declare a variable here called row, and then we create an instance of the validation class. So we have validation rules, that is the name. So in this validation rule class we have a lot of classes, or methods rather, which make up these rules. So let's begin. We say if is required, so this means all input must be required. So we say for name, if name is empty, this is what we're just trying to say. If name is empty, then data, let's give it a name, error title, because that was the name we gave it in our form for displaying errors. So we can copy this and do for others as well, and just here we have, let's copy it, price here, and then description there. So then we change this to description, change this to price, and then the error name will also change to price, and then it will also change to from title to description. Now the next line of action is to check if our data does not return any error. That means if it returns an empty data, then we can proceed. That means if there is no error, then we should proceed. So we say if empty session set success, and then we redirect, right? So we say this redirect to. So let's go and check if our validations are working. Okay, so we try to submit. Product name cannot be empty, price, and then description as well. So our validation is working all right. So there's no need to waste time. Let's go back to, so let's jump back to our code editor and go to our model, add a comment to add products. So we have a public function add products. So this is the code we require to add products into our database. So let's head back to our controller and then give another condition there. First of all, we declare our result as a variable, and then we call on the instance of our CRUD model, and then we paste that which we copied from here, and then we'll close that. So we now say if the above expression is true, let's just copy this right here and paste right there. So I have made a little additions to our HTML. So it I just added an else so that it does not look all blank. So well, if you follow the codes, you will see how it is done. So let's now go ahead and begin to add our products. So we say Toyota, 35k, and say blue car, and then now we have added our first item. So when you click on this, this is supposed to be, one should be error, one edit, and the other should be delete. Sorry about that. Anyway, it was only because I was still going to work on that button. There is a special way that delete buttons should be handled, because removing data from your database should be done with utmost carefulness, because you might end up removing things, or someone without authorization might end up removing things from your database, which will be a lot devastating. If we refresh this, we have delete there. Alright, so let's have another one, BMW, and say 50k, red car, and then let's say we have Honda, 25k, let's say black car. So now we've added 3 items. Now it's time we go and work on our edit page and the update. So we are back in our controller, the CRUD links controller. So we add a comment here, and we say view edit form. Let's create our method for edit, and edit will have a parameter called ID, because we are going to call each of the item in the database by their ID. So we have our form here, we have view, and then we have the name of our form is edit products. Yeah, edit product. Already added the form, so to save time, edit products. So before we proceed, we will have to be able to get our products by their ID. So to do that, we need to head back to our model, and then let me put it up here. Let's say get products by ID, and then we have public function. So this is the method we are going to use to get our respective ID. So copy this and head back to our controller. Now in our controller, we'll head down to edit. So we say products is this CRUD model. Then we add what we obtained from our model. Next is to create a link that will take us down to the edit form. So we head back to our CRUD links. So now we are going to work on the update product method, which will enable us to collect whatever is contained in this form and then update it back into the database. So we head down here and add a comment, update product, public function. So this is our update method. Now we can head back to our controller and see how we can update it in our controller. So we are in our controller now. Now for the update method in the controller, it's virtually almost the same thing as that of our insert, which is the index. The only difference is that the update contains a parameter ID. So we'll say public function update products. Now we have our parameter ID. So I just copied everything up here and excluding the validations, because we don't need validation there for this particular scenario. So we just let me add a comment here, update products. So basically you don't necessarily have to validate unless in an application where you don't have control of what the user is updating. Then you can put some validations so that the guidelines for what you want is being followed. So now that our validation, let's save this, and then we can also save this. Now let's go back to our edit form, and then we've also included the link, and let's go to our browser now and see how. Let's change this to 65,000 and update. So Toyota has been updated to 65,000. Again, let's follow the traditional way. Let's change this color to red. Well, we'll do that in just a moment, because there's a different way I want to handle the delete button. So let's go right in back into our code and see how that can be done. So for the delete button, I worked on it offline. So we're using a form, and this form also have a CSRF token, so that not just anybody can be able to delete something from your site, unless someone who has that session for that particular item. Only such person can have the authority to delete the data in which it's supposed to be deleted. That's the language I wanted to use. So let's head back and refresh our form. Okay, so we have a different color now. So let's go back to our model and see how we can delete items from our database. So we have let's say delete product. So we have public function. So this is the method which we are going to use to delete our data from the database. Well, this is a predefined method in our database class. So if you want to know more about that, you should please visit the PHP MVC framework video. Everything is there. So back into our controller now. Let's give it a comment here. Say delete product. So we say public function delete product, and then we have parameter ID, and then let's go up here and copy this validation for CSFR and then paste that. Then let's declare our ID. Variable, because that is the only input in the form. So if you look at the form, you will see that the ID is hidden, the CSFR token is also hidden. So just like we did up here, we can also copy this here and then paste it down here, and then we'll call our CRUD method in the model. So we'll say CRUD model rather. I don't know why I'm saying CRUD method. And we have delete products. Then it also has an ID, a variable ID. Now if it's successful, then we can also come here and copy that. Let's copy it from here, and then to make those work faster. So I think this is basically our CRUD system. So this is basically our CRUD system. Let's go and check if it's work well. So which are we going to delete first? Let's delete 100. Okay, product has been updated successfully. Okay, because we copied from update. So let's go back and change it. So we deleted this. Let's add 135. black car, and then it has been added. Let's edit it. We got Toyota. Holy shit. Okay guys, I noticed there was a mistake somewhere, and only the first item was updating, so I had to go offline and check out, and I discovered where the mistake was, and it was from here, get ID, and we should have executed the ID in an array, so that was why it was not updating others but just the first entry. So but now we can also go back and edit Honda to, let's say, 57, and then come back and then edit BMW to be 75. So it's all working perfectly now. So I've updated it. So I just wanted to bring it to your attention, and I apologize. So next we are going to look at is the CRUD system model. So like I said earlier, it's basically the same thing, the same procedure, so I won't waste much of your time taking it bit by bit by bit. I will just go ahead and do the codes, and then you'll see it, and you understand. It's very simple, and it's direct. So let's jump back into our code editor and see how we can resolve this swiftly. So I'll just copy everything from here and then paste here, and make some slight changes. So here should be Modal, and then where we have okay, let's just do it like this. Let's replace CRUD links with CRUD Modal. I think this has fixed everything. So what is not required here is the edit page. Yeah, this view is not required. I'm sorry, it's not required. So, and what else? I think every other thing is good to go. So next let's go check it out on our browser. Before that, let's go to the view file and look at how it is. Now the only thing that changes here is the model is included in the includes folder. This is the model, so it holds the update form and then the delete as well. So that is why we have anchor tags here that has an ID in it. So the forms is here. So this is for edits. It's written there, modal edits, and then this is for modal delete. So okay, we have it here, and let's try to add Toyota, and then 35,000, and then let's say we don't have blue car there, so let's add a blue car. Okay, price cannot be empty, so let's write 35,000 there. So price, that's it has been added. Now let's edit this to, let's say, gray car. It's been updated, and then we can as well delete it, and it has been deleted. So guys, this is basically your simple CRUD system for both links and modal. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification button for my next tutorials.